Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right, folks. Thank you yet again checking me out and for your part in making this another beautiful day and continuing to do what? Spread the worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Thank you all. I love you. I appreciate you truly. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Let's continue to build this movement and spread the message, right? Man, another beautiful day. And folks, I think that many of us do not truly grasp the time that we are in right now, right? This video is going to be about us setting our new paradigm. And in order for us to comprehend the gravity and profundity of that statement, we need to understand truly where we're at, right? Folks, in this ascension process and the spiritual maturation journey, you know, I've said that we're not all at the same place, right? Or same point in our journey or our process. And that's appropriate, right? There should be those who, you know, the old souls and the folks who really are integrating these energies well and have been doing so for quite some time now, in fact, are to be the way showers, right? So that is a must. And I certainly want to try and do my best to assist in that role. We have to grasp that the energy, the energies, right, that we are being that are being made available to us in this house, this Aquarian house, astrologically. If you just want to say in this section of the galaxy that we're in during our galactic orbit, right? Either way you want to phrase it, these are incredibly transformative energies. Folks, those of you who are looking for things to get back to normal, if that means in your mind being the way they were, however many years ago, forget that. The past is gone, and now the energy that we are in, right, is very different to us in that we have, through layer upon layer upon layer of indoctrination, of disillusionment, of simply not knowing who and what we were, pretty much by design, for a multitude of reasons, and executed in a multitude of ways, right? It's not all because of nefarious actions or dark actions, right? For example, the veil that we once lived in terms of our separation dimensionally, or our separation between what most of us will refer to as our life and our world and the spirit world, right? Which the two could be the same thing depending on your perspective or how you want to look at it. That's up to each individual to do so. I'll allow you to go ahead and do that, right? But either way, that veil has become thinned, right? I wouldn't say that it's lifted, you know, or we would completely be existing in a paradigm of intermingling with, you know, any and everything on a multi-dimensional level. We're not quite there yet, you know, nor are we likely prepared for that. However, it is thinned, right, in that there is more coming through to us energetically and by way of perception than ever before, right? And we have an opportunity now to actually take control of our reality. Folks, those of you who have been chiming in on and checking in on me on the channel here have many times seen me reference quantum disciplines, right? Quantum sciences like quantum mechanics, quantum biology, etc. So that we can have some sort of a grasp on multi-dimensional existence. But there's an aspect of where we are headed and where we're actually at right now in terms of our influence on our reality. We have got to realize that those layers that told us that life is something that happens to us and the best we can do is try and cope, right? Those layers are beginning to be lifted, and in many of us, they're nearly completely lifted. And I can attest to that personally, right? And we are beginning to integrate multidimensionality at a far more in-depth level, right? And along with that, collectively, comes a responsibility. And that responsibility is essentially us maturing and growing up as a species. Folks, we've always, as much as we felt victim, we've sort of been like children who have always wanted someone to be in the background or to be in the scenes, sort of controlling things, making sure we're all right. Well, folks, now it's time for us to be sovereign and for us to determine our own reality, for us to make sure we're all right, right? The time for us to continue to externalize our power to other individuals, groups, organizations, anyone or anything that would lessen our control or our ability to manifest our own reality, those days are moving past us. So along with that, we've got to let go of the emotion, let me say it correctly, the emotional states and the mental states that go along with those experiences that we call the past. The past is merely a collage of experiences, right? That have happened to us, whether individually or collectively. That is exactly what they are, right? Exactly what the past is, that collection of experiences. Now, what we have grown accustomed to is looking to the past and essentially repeating it in cycles, right? And we have even been reliant upon that process because that gave us comfort. We can look to the past, okay, this is what happened at this point in the cycle. We can expect this or something like this to happen now, and we'll play our role accordingly. Well, now, folks, it's a little bit different. Now, We are determining everything as we go. Literally. You might as well consider the universe itself to be our 3D printer. And we're telling it what to print for our 3D, 4D existence. It's literally working that way right now. Now, why don't we all feel empowered and in control of our lives? Why don't we all feel like, yes, I'm in complete control of my today and my tomorrow, and I make my own destiny? Why don't we all feel like that? Because most of us are still manifesting subconsciously a majority of the time, a heavy majority of the time, and that's got to change. Because when you manifest from your subconscious alone, when you dominantly manifest from your subconscious, you are going to manifest right along with it the issues that lie in your subconscious. And that's what we're seeing in the world. It's what we've been seeing. But times are changing. In this new paradigm, we literally, if we decided collectively, could all wake up tomorrow and live in nothing but peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq, that's a fantasy. That's completely impossible. It'll never happen, never has, never will. Okay. You say it never have, never will. In your life, it most certainly will not. Whatever you say will be. Rather, whatever you convince yourself on a deep enough level will be what manifests in your life. This has always been, but now we are given a far greater opportunity to manifest consciously. Right? To manifest consciously what we want our lives, our reality to look like. So what I'm saying to you, folks, is the only way we can do this is by controlling our mental and emotional states. That is how you control your vibrational frequency, folks. You have got to regulate, and it's not always easy for everyone. I understand that. I really do. Especially since we have been used to living a reactionary life. A life where you are constantly reacting to outside stimuli. Rather than being proactive and putting out into the universe what we want our existence to be. Folks, if you need science to back this up so that you don't think Big King Sadiq is full of crap and just talking you know what, look into it. Do not take my words as your sole source of evidence. But don't just dismiss it as something that is whimsical or not correct. Look into it yourself, and you will find your biosphere, your electromagnetic signature, the field that you emit every day, all day, right, is influential with the quantum field that connects, influences, and impacts all of existence. Folks, your conscience is a major player in physics. Newtonian physics is only a small portion of the puzzle. It's only a low-level layer, so to speak, right? It's something that we sort of clung to as a safety net, right? to get our bearings, so to speak, right? Up is up, down is down, goes up, must come down, all that, right? Can't be in two places in one time, all those things. It's not accurate. and we have found that out in the scientific community as well. So if you need science, right, to point you in the direction of understanding how immensely powerful you are not weak. I don't care if you're 5 months old or 105. I don't care what kind of physical condition you're in. I care. I want you to be all right. But regardless of who you are, what kind of physical condition you are, mental condition, you have the opportunity, the same as the next person, to manifest your reality now. The only thing that is sort of the latch pin to that ability, or the gate that you need to open, is you're cognizing that fact. And to cognize something is to have a belief that is rooted so much in your core that you no longer require any sort of a linear proof, right? Or any sort of linear affirmation in order for you to truly grasp it as so, right? In other words, you know that you feel electricity, right, shocking you when you touch that socket with a wet hand, whether you see a spark or not, right? Even more basic, 2 plus 2 is 4. Whether I come along and tell you it's 5 or something or not, and I would have a very difficult time convincing you. It may be impossible to convince you that 2 and 2 could be anything other than 4, because you have cognized that that's what it is. So that gets you to understand the level of grasping something that you need to have in order to go into your own subconscious and free yourself of the things that have limited you, those layers upon layers that start when you're a child, when you are a young child, those layers of other people, other influences determining your reality, setting your 3D parameters for you. Well, folks, now you're setting the parameters. But you have to cognize and truly, I like to use a word better than belief, right? You have to know it for yourself. And when you do, when you are able to tear away enough of those layers that provide you with that level of disbelief, that provide you with those limitations that others put on you, when you are able to liberate yourself of enough of those layers, you will begin to see your ability to manifest consciously, truly happen in your life. You will be able to give your own testimony where you have seen, I made that happen. And it will astonish you, but it will empower you and aid you further along this journey, right? This journey of spiritual maturation, this ascension path, however you want to term it. You got to realize that you are literally impacting existence through an electromagnetic process. It's not science fiction, folks. facts. Check it out for yourself. And along with that, we need to understand and cognize again that if we truly invest ourselves in the process of learning how to regulate our own mental and emotional states, you can control where you resonate in terms of your electromagnetic frequency. And in doing so, you truly impact your ability to manifest on a conscious level. Now, I made another video talking about the hardest thing moving forward. And that is also the biggest impediment to keeping you from being able to manifest on a more conscious level and set your own reality. And that is the past. Folks, it's so difficult for us because it is what we have termed and come to accept as human nature. The different ways that we rely on the past. Many of which we don't even realize on a conscious level. I'll give you an example of what I mean. The fears that you have. Many of us have a lot of deep fears that, don't deal with don't come from mundane sources. Like, a person could be fearful if you point a gun at them or something like that. That's mundane and not that imaginative in terms of us understanding the incredibly varied ways that fear can manifest. What if you're someone who has had a subconscious fear of success, right? You have done things and you have shied away from opportunities that would ensure that you only go or reach certain levels of success in life because there is something within you that causes you to be uneasy with the true visualization of yourself in a successful position. And when I say position, I don't mean working for someone, I mean a position in life. Well, folks, that actually is a fear of failure. You're afraid that the greater your success, the greater your failure. So you cap your own success because you're giving yourself what you feel to be subconsciously a safety net, so that if you fall or when you fall, like you subconsciously believe that you'll fail, it will only be a short fall, figuratively, right? These are the obscure ways that fear can manifest, and there's many, many, many other different forms of fear that we can find. But those fears are often fueled by our past, right? Whether it's literally an event or happening or a point in our lives personally, or something that may have happened on the planet that causes us to develop a certain fear, right? I'm telling you that fear is your greatest hindrance. It is the lowest vibrational frequency that you'll attain. First of all, when you are in a deep fear state, scientists have charted it over and over again, and if you really think about it and look within, you can verify this as well. When you are in a deeply fearful state, you are at your weakest point. Your vibrational frequency is at its lowest. So how successful will you be manifesting consciously if you're held back by fear? You will not be successful at all. Conversely, the more we can look at the past and realize the past is merely, folks, a collage of experiences that we can glean wisdom from. Huh? You don't need the emotions of what has happened to you in the past or what has happened on the planet in the past. You don't need any aspect of an experience of the past that would hold you back. You don't. What you need is whatever lessons there are to have been learned and the wisdom that you can accrue from it. That is the only thing that will benefit you moving forward. Anything else is unwanted baggage. And it is a direct impediment to your ability to manifest the reality you want. So then what will happen if you are impeded too greatly by that baggage? Then you will manifest subconsciously, and your reality will be the issues therein. And you often will not manifest the existence, the reality that you want and so richly deserve. So folks, we have to let go of the past in terms of the pain, the misery, revenge, what we call our sense of justice. Folks, often what we call justice is just revenge. We have to start being real with ourselves about that, right? For example, what has been done to indigenous people on this planet throughout our time on this planet, on a whole, is unspeakable. Truly, truly. This world has heaped its ugliest upon the indigenous folks around this world and used cute little terms like third world countries and minority and, all these little phrases to sort of cuten up or subside the degree of ugliness that should be recognized with the behavior that has been yielded toward my people, right? As a highly melanated man, and toward indigenous people all over this planet. But folks, the past is the past, and all that serves us from it are the lessons that we can learn. That is how we move forward in sovereignty, right? Not that I mention this because I do remember there was a time where I was seeing a lot on social media. This is the ascension, black people with our melanin, we're going to get all these superpowers, we're going to get revenge against these white folks and this and that and that and that. Folks. I understand the emotions and the frustration. Truly, I do. First of all, I've talked many times about how all these race wars are just illusions that we have been made subject to by the socio-economic elite who have been served by racial inequality and by clashes of people that they have fit into racial boxes, right? Okay. And I understand that so much pain, misery, hate, ugliness has come as a result of that. And that real life people have bore the brunt of that. Right? I've had plenty of those experiences in my life. There was a time in my life when I was very vengeful and would have been dangerous to folks who I felt that militant animosity toward. And I had good reason. Just like everyone who feels that anger and frustration and that desire for the revenge has good reason. Folks, don't tell me that you know, to think about black babies being thrown in the air and used as target practice by their slave masters, and similar cruelty being done, you know, by Nazis against Jews and black people, by the way, too. That gets left out so conveniently, right? That during that Holocaust and in those internment camps or those